I mean, I think that, working out the story on paper is really important. And that's, for me, that's because in some ways the act of writing it down makes you realize what the flaws in it are. But I also think it's important that whatever you write down on paper has the capacity to change depending on what you find in the world or in the archive. So in an observational doc, those scenes will be constantly changing and being replaced, and the shape of the film will be constantly changing. This one, maybe the shape of the film is still pretty much how I conceived it at the beginning. But that sort of means of, I suppose it's what, I mean, I don't know much about fiction filmmaking, but I imagine it's the way fiction filmmaking will organize material, is that the scene becomes an incredibly important sort of unit of story, So everything would be, we would work within the edit project with our sort of scenes. We knew that the scenes had to take us from here to there. We had a lot of characters, and one of the things we learned fairly early on was that we needed, first of all, that when we introduced a character, we needed them to do something memorable, quite memorable, so that when you came back to them, it would be like, oh yeah, he's the guy who did this. And secondly, that really scenes needed to be held by just one or two characters, so that we wouldn't. I think there's a great temptation, and I think this is a danger if you get into scripting documentaries from logs of interviews, and you use a cut and paste method of bits of paper. You start to lose the character of that material, and you start to treat it all as kind of equally weighted evidence. So for us, I actually don't work with logged transcripts at all. I just worked with an assistant editor to break that material down into scenes, into timeline scenes, and then we'll be kind of looking at sort of where's the emotion of the who really holds the emotion of this scene, who tells the plot best, who gives it the most tension, who's the central character in it, is there a kind of an antagonist within this scene, those kinds of ideas, and then try and build a scene just around one or two characters. So that was a way of once you start doing that, then there's a load of stuff you just throw out, even if it's really good. Everything said by Paul Watson in this scene is out because he's not in the scene. So that's and actually, although there was a lot of small reels of film, we actually only had, I think, 20 hours of material scanned from Greenpeace. So there was a lot, but it was quite bitty. And 20 hours, often in an observational project, I'll be working with 100 hours of material. So it wasn't that there was so much. I mean, I think the audio there was much. There was like 50 hours of audio, and then also when the other material started coming in from other archives, there was more of that. But again, just trying to keep it within that scene structure. Any other questions?